Hello YouTube, this is Shirley426, and today we have the review of the Megabox Deep 1 from the 5.2 Toys. Now, for those who aren't too familiar with me, I am a big fan of these Megaboxes and Beast Box line from the 5.2 Toys. They are as far as I know, it's a Chinese company. They hire a lot of designers to make their products. Now, some time ago for the Beast Box lines, I did review a good bunch. But for the Megabox line, this should be technically my second. So the first one was Landbreaker. I absolutely love the look and design and concept of this figure. For those who don't know, this is basically two construction vehicles combining into a mech. So Deep 1 here, judging on the colors, for those who can guess, is two submarine type vehicles combining into a mech. So that's the way how it is. Now, yeah, so, and then recently at Wonder Festival, 5.2 Toys did display, they had their own showcase, and they are working on their third Megabox line, which, as far as I know, is the concept is two jets combining into one vehicle. Of course, the combined mech design is very different from these two as well. You'll see the mech design for this later, but the feeling or the overall looks is very, very different than you think. But I am extremely excited for those as well. And then they also announced a whole lot of, well, not announced, but revealed a whole lot of other Beast Boxes line, and I am excited for them as well. So let me just get rid of Landbreaker here. He will be coming back soon. For those who don't like the orange version, there is another green version, kind of like the Constructicon Combiner version colors, like in green and purple. So if you like that, and I believe that one's called the Elite Landbreaker, so if you like that, you can go for this as well. And then this one also has a alternative color version, which is, instead of blue, you can basically imagine all the blue parts in orange, and I believe that one is called the Elite version, the Elite Deep 1. So for those who don't like blue, you can always go with the orange version as well. At the moment, I don't have any plans to buying the Elite versions unless, like, I don't know, I get the feel for it. Alright, before we go on to the review, let's see what we get for components. So first of all, what you, of course, is obviously the Megabox itself. Now for these ones, you get two, you buy a box and you get two of these as well. So you get a set of the submarines, and then you get the two of these box chargers. As you can see, you can stack them up high, or you can also separate them and then combine them side to side. So this has been a very nice concept. So which is why I am extremely enjoying this line as well, or from products from this company, to be more specific. And once again, here we have some stuff. So now, once again, since we have two boxes, we get two PVC cards. Once again, these cards are meant to be, if you're having trouble like pulling them out for some reason, you can always fold these cards in half, put it in the box, so once you open the lid, it will pop out. But once again, I do feel this is kind of unnecessary, so yeah, I think 5.2 Toys can stop with these PVC cards just to save extra money and less plastic. And just in case, for those who don't know, they do actually give you a manual for the boxes and the PVC card. So yeah. Alright, so now let's get on to the reviews. So I'm just gonna pull them out. You do get a catalog, but once again, we've seen those multiple times, so I don't think I need to mention it as well. Now the Megabox line is not only focused on these type of mechs, they actually do sometimes, the Megabox line does also include licensed products such as the Alien vs Predator. I believe they used to do Marvel, but I recently heard that they lost the rights to it, so once again, or they don't have the license for that anymore. And then I recently seen that they were doing something very odd, which with Disney princesses, but I'm not going to mention that too much. And they have much more cool stuff coming up as well. So let's hope for the best. Alright, so once again, as you can see, these two are pretty much submarines. So these two are going to be transformed into submarines, and I'm going to be honest in this review, I am not going to be able to show you guys the transformation process, because I tend to try to memorize the transformation. These two are way more complicated than Landbreaker. Their vehicle forms are much more complicated. As you can see, these guys are much compact. Now this one may not look like it, but this one is actually in a very compact form. So I just couldn't memorize them at all. So once again, I'll be right back with their transformation. Okay, I'm back. So here we have each submarine format. So let's look at the first one here. So the one that goes on the top of the mech. So I've noticed that even including with Landbreaker, each individual vehicles don't actually have a name as far as I know. So this one was much more, how should I say, yeah, there's a lot more process for this one compared to the other one, but yeah, I'm not, this just doesn't, there are some parts that I don't like. Number one is that the legs, basically the instruction manual, there's like a lot of these processes where it just goes from A to C, A to D right away, which makes it really complicated. And number two, that they like these leg areas, they don't really lock into place, so you have to make them look like, you have to position them correctly to make it not look awkward. So that's just one of my issues I had, but it does look like a pretty convincing submarine. It's not like a combat usage submarine. It's like more of an exploration submarine. You have all these sub arms that can move up and down as well. Now, because of the transformation process, there are some parts that move around, but technically they're not supposed to. So you can see this lower area is onto a ball joint. Here's another ball joint, and then here we have another joint here, which doesn't go down. Okay, it does go down. It's just a little bit stiff. That can go down that much. And then we have another arm here. Another joint here and here, so which does make you move your claw pretty in a free range. Of course, it doesn't really go side to side, or you can technically make it go side to side using the ball joints, but yeah, you get the idea. Now the claws itself don't open and close, and here we have another sub arm here. It's supposed to be folded up like this, and then in the submarine mode you pull it out. So nothing too spectacular, it's just you do get that submarine feel. And then here we have some extra nice silver paint here to get that, you know, extra vibe going on for the lights. And then once again, for those who don't know, you can actually open the cockpit here, or not cockpit, or the pilot seat. There is a seat, actual seat in there. Now I've seen some Japanese videos where it seems like you could put in some figures from Diaclone. I'm not too familiar with the Diaclone products, but they do have human pilot figurines. It looks like those, and you can put them inside there. But yeah, I think they did a really good job on the inside. It does really get that pilot seat look, and I do like the way how you close out the hatch and then you put this white section here. Really nice. Alright, and then the other one, which is actually I do prefer this design, but I think I'm having a little bit of quality control issues, because the only part, this one is much more simple than you think, but the only part, once again, there are many places that lock into each other, and one issue I have is this part right over here. So originally in the cube mode, it would be in this, something like this, in this position. Oh wait, actually it should be like in this position, and it locks into place perfectly. There's a position where this thing locks into place exactly where it's meant to, but they basically have to, yeah, you have to basically you have to straighten this section up, and this part is supposed to fully clamp down and close, but this one is not doing that for some reason. The other side is like that as well, but not as bad as this, so I really don't know why it's not locking into place. You can see it's trying to like come out a little bit by bit, so that's kind of a bummer that I have, because I was really looking forward for this design as well. And let's see what we got. And you can definitely tell, like, when you compare this to the Landbreaker version, you can definitely tell these are going to become the legs, or high chances of these becoming the legs. And then once again, we have these claw arms as well. These ones look more menacing compared to the other one, and these ones can actually okay, so these ones don't open up as well, as far as I know. They look like they can open up, but once you look at the inside of the claws, you can see, yeah, nothing's gonna move inside there as well. Unless it's just really stiff, but for now I can only see that it's not meant to move. And we have a nice articulation on the arms here, so we have one joint there, and then another joint on the gray section, like that. So yeah, if they could have made the claws open, that could have made something really fun as well. And once again, you can also open the seat over here. Now this one has less detail compared to the other one, but oh well, as long as you can fit in a pilot, someone's going to be happy with that. Alright, so we've seen the basics of each vehicle. Now I'll be right back with the combined version, or right before you combine the two. Okay, I'm back. So I finished the combination. The combination is pretty simple. All you need to do is just each make the leg and the top half, and then just combine them each other, and then plug them in with the peg and hole system that is provided. Now, I also brought out the Landbreaker once again for comparison, and a typical HG gun plug to give you guys an idea how tall these mechas are. So you can definitely tell it's slightly taller than a typical HG kit, so that's that. Now, when you compare the two, you can definitely tell I prefer Landbreaker much more, because he has the more mech feeling as well. I mean, then when it comes to articulation, the Landbreaker is much superior. I just wanted to point that out. Actually, let me just put him back there because there's a few more things I need to mention. And before we go to the articulation, I would like to mention about the box. The back on the box mentions the actual names of each submarine. So the one that goes on the top is called monkfish. The other one is lobster. So that's that. So I do wish they would have mentioned this on the manual because I tend to look at the manual more compared to the box. And just to mention the box, this the X2R. If you buy a like Megabox or Beast Box, they will have the mechanical design mentioned here. So there's each teams. This is made from X2R team. So if you buy multiple of these, you can always check out because some teams make multiple, some teams make less. So if you like a specific Beast Box, that means the other Beast Box made by the same team might be for you as well. So that's an interesting aspect when you look at it. Alright, now looking at the Deep 1. So the combination is pretty simple. You just each make top and half, or you transform the top and the half each into its correct form, and then combine them with the middle peg there. So the articulation is much lacking, I'm gonna be honest, because once again you pretty much slap the top submarine onto the bottom one. So the legs seem pretty convincing. The top section is kind of limited because the overall structure, because you can see the arm joint here is right over there, but it's being covered up by these parts and the front part and the middle section as well. So it might be limited, and this is a huge kibble compared to the Landbreaker. So the arms, they don't really move that much, so you can move them side to side or almost rotate them if you know where to go, and then you are able to move them up and down as well. And then you do have a slight bend point over here, but once again you won't be bending it too often because of how the limitation is. So that's pretty much it. And then we have these claws that actually move, but I wish they were slightly longer because they barely touched each other, and then the design just overall doesn't make any sense. Now I just followed the part where the manual mentions, but I guess you could kind of make them move even closer like this. So like that. The blue and the white section here on the arms do move individually, separately, so you can kind of work that way out. And now the legs, well, they're pretty much what you expect. You have a nice forward and backward movement going on here. We have a nice bend that goes forward as well, and then back pretty well. But you can make them go straight, but the manual does mention to go in like a werewolf style leg feel. Now the feet, once again, these claws are the feet, and then I wish these turbines, once again, they don't plug in anywhere, so they're just relying on a ball joint. But I'm surprised that they can actually hold the overall mech design as well. I'm not having any, how should I say, balance issues with this specific mech design. One thing what you can do now when you have the other like Megabox like Landbreaker, or if you plan on buying the upcoming Jet Combiner, what you can also do is that I'm not sure this is going to be a good example, but you can actually, I did mention this slightly on my Landbreaker review, is that you can kind of swap parts. You can kind of, how should I say, you can actually change parts like this. I'm just going to show you guys on the Landbreaker because putting this one the other way around on this guy is going to be much more tricky. So you can actually swap parts like that. So you can actually attach this arm to a Landbreaker, or the other way around. Or if you just want to be even more creative, this also applies to the leg. You can actually pull out the legs, but you can also just pretty much swap out the top and bottom of each Megabox. So once again, we can combine here, where now Landbreaker might be now capable of actually swimming around or going underwater, while the Deep 1 can now actually walk on land if you want to do so. Alright, now there is one more combination here, so I'm not going to combine the two, all four boxes into one. I'm not a big, I'm not the best person to do that. But like Landbreaker actually had two modes where they can combine into a mech, or the vehicles can combine to become a longer vehicle. Now the Deep 1 said the monkfish and the lobster can do the same thing, but it's I'm not saying it becomes a longer vehicle. There's also another combination, so I'll be right back with that. And there is one more part that I need to mention because apparently it's something I was not paying attention to. Okay, here is the final part of the video. So here we have its other mode. So you can actually combine the two to become some sort of like a mammoth or elephant looking design. Now, the interesting part with this set is that they actually give you these extra parts. Now, at first I thought these were bonus parts because I've seen online a lot of people making their customized version, or they're trying to customize these kits, but they also some of these holes around the figure is that it's not always compatible with other brand stuff, like from Gunpla parts from Bandai or Kotobukiya, or even Transformers parts. So they actually added these. So I thought these were meant for these, but this the manual actually mentions that you have to use some of these parts to make it into this mode. So you might have noticed around the figure, you might have noticed that there are these small holes. So let's say if I wanted to just attach like Landbreaker's, for example, if I wanted to attach Landbreaker's arms, I would have to use, I believe I have to use one of these parts with the small pegs, and then connect it with this, or add another piece there in order to actually combine. So they actually give you extra pegs or connectors so that you can modify that. So for this, you actually needed to attach those parts on the legs, because these parts, because they attach to the side, they're not the original parts where these large parts were. And between the two, you actually need the smaller part, because this one is a smaller hole, while this other one is actually the larger hole that attaches the whole body for the deep one. So yeah, but I do really like this extra concept where you can actually make it into an entirely different thing. Of course, the biggest problem that I have with Deep 1 is that none of these parts lock into place properly. Landbreaker, on the other hand, there were a lot of locking mechanisms. This one seems to not have that many. So yeah, if you want to go with your first Megabox, I highly recommend Landbreaker, and I'm really hoping that the third one, the two jet combiners, have more locking mechanisms as well, because I rather have something more solid rather than something that has more gimmicks. That's just my own like personal way of seeing things. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the review. Hopefully this review was helpful to you guys. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. This was the review of the Megabox Deep 1 from 52 Toys. I'm really looking forward for their other Beast Box and Megabox line as well. Until then, see you guys next time.